Hi, it's me, Fran again, with another Radio Naturopath update. Last week was Radio Naturopath 159. Because the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida just happened a week before that episode, I felt responsible as a health practitioner to say something about the shooting and the presence of weapons in our society. I live in northeastern Connecticut and it's very rural here. I have many friends and acquaintances who own guns for hunting and shooting. I support the hunters who seek out healthy, free-range meat for their families, friends, and for sale. But it's my belief that there's no reason for a civilian to carry an assault weapon. Assault weapons are designed only for killing multiple people at a time. Here's a quote from Nate Bethia, an Army veteran, quoting his friend, an Army Special Forces officer, in an article in the New York Times. Quote, "People who say they need an AR for hunting or home defense often don't understand the weapon's ballistics or overpenetration," he said. "ARs cause horrific damage to humans. That's why the military developed them." End quote. From Heather Scher, MD, a radiologist who worked on the victims of the Parkland shooting in the emergency room, writing in an article in The Atlantic, quote, "In a typical handgun injury, which I diagnose almost daily, a bullet leaves a laceration through an organ such as the liver. To a radiologist, it appears as a thin, linear, gray bullet track through the organ. There may be bleeding and some bullet fragments. I was looking at a CT scan of one of the mass shooting victims from the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School who had been brought to the trauma center during my call shift. The organ looked like an overripe melon smashed by a sledgehammer and was bleeding extensively. How could a gunshot wound have caused this much damage? The reaction in the emergency room was the same. One of the trauma surgeons opened a young victim in the operating room and found only shreds of the organ that had been hit by a bullet from an AR-15, a semi-automatic rifle that delivers a devastatingly lethal, high-velocity bullet to the victim. Nothing was left to repair, and utterly, devastatingly, nothing could be done to fix the problem. The injury was fatal." End quote. An Army veteran who has used assault rifles in the military and an ER doctor who is absolutely unable to repair the damage done by these weapons both agree. These weapons have no place in the hands of public citizens. If they're in the hands of the public, someone will eventually decide to use them for their intended purpose, quickly killing large numbers of people. The Army vet knows that his or her job is to go to war so that we civilians don't have to face that in our everyday lives. The ER doctor knows what his or her job is, to swiftly deliver emergency care to people whose health is in danger. Assault rifles in public hands flies in the face of both of their sacred duties. As a Jewish girl from New York and New Jersey, and also a simple country doctor in northeastern Connecticut, I stand with these heroes whose duty it is to save lives. Having assault rifles for public consumption flies in the face of all of us who dedicate our lives to helping people with their healing. Please honor the fallen and survivors of the Parkland shooting and all who have suffered and died in mass shootings, and support legislation that bans assault rifles in the public sector.